Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. So in this video I'm going to try and help you reduce your learning curve with dire Avengers. So just from my experience really, just going to have a chat about them. So from a modelling point of view, as I've previously said, one great thing about Eldar is you have all the different colours of the aspect warriors, and these are aspect warriors. They have their blue colour scheme. What I've done with mine is I've sort of matched them into my IDIC theme as well. So I've got the purple crest on the head there, and I've got the purple tabard at the back, you know, and there's some purple and stuff on there, and I've done the gold white colour for the guns, which is hopefully, when it's matched up to the rest of my army, just makes it, you know, sort of fit in a little bit more, even though they have their unique colour scheme. The other thing which is worth noting is that these things on the back, the scanners, they're actually all supposed to be on this side, but I did find that it's very difficult to get different dynamic poses because the heads, you know, they basically just only fit on one side. And okay, yeah, they're all supposed to be shooting their gun, but hey, we want them in different poses. So what I did is I did a little conversion and put the scanner on the other side. And if you check out my Dire Avenger videos in the past, the ones were before I painted them, you'll be able to see how I did that. But yeah, it does help give you sort of more dynamic poses. So okay, there you go. Now, what I'd recommend, although you get 9 of these guys in a unit with an X-Arts, which effectively is 10, when you're making your army up, your Dire Avengers up, I would suggest you do 10 Dire Avengers plus the X-Arts. So basically that gives you the option to either split them down, have 2 units of 5, or have one big unit, just drop one guy and put the X-Arts in there. That's what I've done with mine. I found it very useful. Having said that, Dire Avengers and 6th editions, I mean, units of 5 really, to be fair, isn't actually that viable anymore, because you can't hide a unit of 5 in a Wave Serpent or in a Valken and just leave it to, you know, capture objectives, because they have to get out of the vehicle to capture the objectives. So I would say drop units of 5. It's really not worth having. So you want bigger units. I mean, how big? Well, you want at least 7. Ideally, I would say probably 9 or 10. If you have 8, which, you know, it's still doable, but bearing in mind, if you have 8, if 2 die is a leadership test, whereas if you have 9 and 2 die, you don't have to do a leadership check. So yeah, it's probably worth having 9 in there, I would suggest. The guns, well, a little bit outdated really, I suppose, now, 6th edition, because they're only 18 inches, which is just not quite long enough. So you have to bear in mind that it is an 18-inch gun, not 24-inch like most of the other 40k guns. Now, you have 2 options really here. You have them on foot, or you have them in a Wave Serpent. Wave Serpent is excellent for obviously keeping them alive for much longer, especially as they're troops. And of course, if you want them to score, they will have to get out of the tank, so you do have to bear that in mind. And the same, well, when they're on foot, it is actually quite viable, but it does depend on the rest of your army. Bear with me with these videos, because there's just so much to say. What I'm going to try and do is give you a unit by unit sort of step and introduction, and then hopefully you can pick all those pieces out, and then eventually we'll get around to doing, you know, individual tactics and army lists and different types of armies that are, you know, that you can, army routes that you can go down. So just bear with me, and yeah, take one video at a time if you can. Right, so of course the X-Art. Let's talk about the X-Art. So this is my X-Art, and he is fully magnetised. Again, I've got some videos on my magnetising of this guy. Here he is. Pretty cool guy, if I do say so myself. He's got no arms because, yeah, they're magnetised. So you have 3 combinations. You have the Dire Sword, you have the dual caps, and you have the power weapon shimmer shield. So which ones to choose? Well, I've magnetised them all because I just love having options, and we never know what the future's going to hold. But I would say, personally, the Dire Sword is the one that you will be not using. So I'm going to move that out of the equation. These are the two combos to use. Either the dual cats. We know that this is a shooting army. I mean, you know, their aspect is for shooting, especially infantry. Lots and lots of shots. Dual cats, very, very useful, because a dual cat guy, he is going to give you, if I can get his arms on the right way, he's going to give you 5 shots after Blade Storm, which we're going to talk about in a second, and they're at weapon ballistic skill 5, so he's going to hit on 2s. Not only that, but doesn't he look so cool? 2 guns, what a cool dude. So yeah, if you take it in this form, you'll want Blade Storm. Blade Storm is going to give you 1 extra shot. Okay, you can't use it the next turn, but don't forget you can use that in Overwatch. So as long as you haven't used Blade Storm the time before, if you're going to get assaulted, you can Blade Storm, and then you can do that extra roll for those 6s. You won't be able to shoot the next turn, but you're probably going to be assaulted, probably going to lose the assault anyway. It is a shooty unit, bear that in mind. Okay, so talking of Blade Storm, my flag comes off, it's magnetised, so once I've used Blade Storm, I would take my flag off so I know that it's used and I can't use it the next turn, and then when I can use it again, I'll just put the flag back up. One little token reminder. Now, probably was the best combination for the Dire Avengers, but I think things have changed slightly, especially if you're using foot Dire Avengers, because the power weapon shimmer shield combo is actually very useful. Now, when I take this, I would still get the Blade Storm power, because having the extra shots on the main unit is awesome. It's fantastic. So maintain that, but if you're taking this combo, I would also go for defend. Your defend special rule, -1 attack from your enemy. You will get the 5+ invulnerable save from the shimmer shield, and of course this is a power weapon, and it's still only strength 3, but it is a power weapon, and quite useful for challenges as well, because they're quite high initiative, these Exiles, so bear that in mind. Pretty good for challenges. So yeah, that's it basically. That's the main things with them. Whether or not you go for dual caps or whether you go for the dire power weapon combo, that's up to you. What I tend to do in my foot list, I have 1 of each. I have 1 with the power weapon, 1 with the cats. They're both awesome, they're both good. You can't really go wrong with either of them, to be fair. Yeah, so that's it really. Sadly, these, personally, I've used them a few times and they've never really done anything, but both of these here, they've always done something, they've always been worthwhile, so those are the 2 that I would recommend. That's it, I think. Just trying to think if there's anything else for Dire Avengers. I'm sure there is, but that's what I've got in my head at the moment, and as I said, bear with these videos, because you know, at some point they're all going to come together, and you know, you're going to be able to get those army lists ready. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.